Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I got another recap for you guys. Married at First Sight, Season 13, Episode 8, Family and Friends and Feelings. Oh my. So before we jump into this recap, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications. If you like the video, smash that like button, and also feel free to drop a comment down in the comment section below. So we got some stuff to unpack tonight. And the couples this week dive into domestic life together. They celebrate their new homes and welcome friends to their housewarming parties. We see one husband will see red flags and remind them of past toxic relationships. Another wonders if he was even ready for marriage at all, and it seems the more times these couples spend together, the more they question their relationship. Now, this particular episode that we watched displayed the reason why, I like to see when the couples move in together, because there's only so long you can hide your true personality. Now, if you want to really truly know someone, vacation or live with them. Now, I don't know about some of these couples. I'm starting to lose hope for some of them. And I see some red flags waving furiously in the wind, despite that it's still kind of early in this season. So let's talk about it. Let's jump straight into this recap. So let's first talk about Zack and Michaela. Now, despite the counseling session they had with Pastor Cal, both of these two relationship haven't gotten any better. He decides to vent to his friend about his marital issues, and at least he met with somebody that seemed to be level-headed. Now, his friend advises him to be patient. He also believes Zack should be more realistic about the challenges of marriages, especially when you're dealing with a stranger. Now, currently, Zack is still struggling with Michaela's confrontational nature. Michaela, you might want to calm down and get to know your husband first. You may be married, but that doesn't mean he will just put up with anything. This is a guy who was doing some crocheting, making some soap. He's clearly not the type, that want to argue all the time. So after initially telling Zack she no longer wanted to have the housewarming party, it seems like Michaela decides to move forward with the party. Now, it's evident that the vibe kind of changed, or there was a shift between them. He pulls her friends to the side and asks how he should deal with her behavior in the future. Now, it's interesting. One of the friends believes that she is acting differently because she is out of her comfort zone. Okay. Meanwhile, Michaela admits to his friend that she realized that she has made some mistakes. So I look like she's taking some accountability. Now, his friend gives her clear instructions how to communicate with a man like Zack. He needs to be with a woman who can speak calmly and respectfully. Now, I don't know if we've seen the last of Michaela's tantrums due to what we saw coming up. I mean, if she's acting like this in the first 2 weeks, who knows what's to come? Now, I don't blame Zack for being kind of hesitant now. I'm hoping that Michaela can learn to express her feelings and expectations in a healthier manner. I mean, the man was all alone with COVID for weeks, so maybe she should give him a break. So after the party, we see Michaela apologizes for her behavior, but Zack feels like he needs to take a step back at this point. I mean, he even admits that he is so upset that he's been having anxiety. Now, Michaela she continues to try to resolve things, but it seemed like it's obviously a little too late. It seems like their relationship is on, it's hanging by a thread right now. And I'm wondering, what his last girlfriend put him through that he's now afraid to even be around Michaela and being so heavily triggered. I don't know what happened. Look like there's some pieces that was also missing out of this scene, because at one point it was off. The next point, it was back on. Did something happen that made Michaela mad, or was this still a run over from the whole incident where she thought he was gone, but he was only gone for 2 hours with the dog and blah, 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 blah. And then, like I said in last week's video about the whole thing, he dropped in social media that she knew the night before and she got a text the next morning. So I don't know if all of this is drummed up for drama, but it is what it is. But I don't know if these two are going to make it. I had high hopes for them. So we'll have to see. Okay, let's talk about Gil and Merla. Now, it looks like Gil is realizing that Merla doesn't just splurge on clothes and shoes. She doesn't feel the need to budget on any of her household expenses. Now, when they share how much they have in savings, I'm sure no one was shocked to learn that they are definitely in two different tax brackets. Now, Gil claims he has a saving account in Colombia that he cannot touch. And it seems very convenient that after seeing the amount in his wife's account, he has money that can't be accessed in another country. Okay. I think he's telling the truth, though. I mean, I see some other people think it's kind of side-eye-ish, but, it happens. But they can't use those funds for a house or anything else. And, if he plans to stay with Merla, it seems like they're going to need every dollar he can get his hands on. Now, I did check out what a firefighter makes in Houston. And the thing is, I found it pretty interesting that the median income, which is 50%, is at $49,413, and at the highest end is $73,000. Now, I mean, that's not a money to just turn your head at, but considering whatever she has is definitely a big difference and a different tax bracket. Now, Gil, that man love to talk. We saw a lot of that when, of course, he left the other rooms and he tells Merla all of the details. Now, later, we see that he introduced his wife to his mother through video chat. His mom was unable to come to the wedding because she lives in Colombia. Now, she's definitely excited and elated that her son has found someone to spend his life with. But I'm not sure if she realized this marriage could very likely end in divorce in about 6 weeks, especially if he gets no kiss. Merla and Gil also have some fun together that night with their friends to celebrate their new apartment together. We once again see their conversation shift to her lifestyle and spending habits. Now, Merla is adamant that she isn't going to change anything about the life that she lives. And Gil also tells everyone, he worries that his wife will never kiss him. Meanwhile, we see Merla's friend reassures Gil that she moves a little slower in relationships. She tells Gil's friend she's driven by money, unlike her husband. And she also adds that she isn't willing to move into any apartment like he is either. Wow. She's definitely telling them how, she really feels. I don't see this marriage as being sustainable. I mean, Gil is being patient and he's definitely, hanging in there, but I don't think that there's no reward at the end of this for him. So, yeah, that's just my thoughts on that. I mean, I will say a lot of people gave her a lot of flack for her spending a lot of money, but looking at her tax bracket, she definitely has the money to spend to support the things that she's buying and she's saving. The question is how she's going to be able to blend that in any type of marriage or relationship, where she sticks with this one or if she divorces and end up marrying someone else down the road. It remains to be seen. But I mean, if she has this independent versus interdependent type attitude when it comes to a marriage, it's not going to work. So I guess we'll definitely see where this is heading, which is probably nowhere. Okay, next up is Brett and Ryan. Now, they both meet with friends separately to discuss their marriage. Ryan is concerned that his wife can be high-strung at times, while he is more carefree and adventurous. Brett is also, meanwhile, happy, or just as happy, that she pushed herself to try something new. Now, although they, point out concerns, they both feel like their relationship is progressing. We see at the housewarming party, everything goes extremely well. All their friends were interacting and having a good time. But I have a feeling that Brett is a lot more social than Ryan is. And she definitely was real happy about, how she was progressing with her feelings toward Ryan. So, again, I'm still lukewarm on these two. It's just Ryan is extremely reserved. He's saying everything he's saying is sounding good to the ear when it comes to her. I just don't see the connection and emotion coming from him. So we'll have to continue to watch. It's still another 6 weeks to go. So we'll see what happens with these two. Okay, let's talk about Bao and Johnny. Oh my goodness. So Bao meets with her brother and gives him an update on Johnny. Now, thankfully, she has somebody to talk to and give her a male perspective because she tends to overanalyze everything. Now, she doesn't seem to be able to disconnect her thoughts about him from college and that Johnny from 15 years ago and the person he is today. Yeah, I know. They knew each other before, but that was many years ago, and people evolved since college. So when Johnny meets with the other grooms, he admits that he is having issues with Bao. Now, although he is attracted to her physically, he doesn't like her personality. He even said that she's not really his type. Now, several of the men advise him to continue to try to work on things. In a post-interview, he becomes emotional and questions if, he's even ready for marriage. Johnny is definitely conflicted, and I'm glad he was able to see that the issue could also be him and not just Bao. Now, while they were getting ready for bed, Bao notices definitely that something was off with him. Now, he did confess to her that he isn't sure that he is ready to be married. Now, honestly, I think they both may be overthinking the situation because I really think that these two could really be good together. I do believe Johnny do have some valid concerns because of some of the things we saw in the previous episodes. I don't think he should completely blame himself for their lack of chemistry, though. But both of them need to learn to compromise and humor their partner on some things. I mean, I have to admit, Bao saying she doesn't like to shower would definitely be a turnoff for most people. Now, Bao and Johnny hosted an island-themed housewarming party for their family and friends. Now, given that he had just admitted that he wasn't sure that he wanted to be married, I don't know how that was going to go over. Now, Bao's friend gifts Johnny with a book on how to pleasure a woman. Well, I don't know if you want to call that an icebreaker or what, but he found that very interesting that with everything that's going on, he get a book on pleasing a woman. Now, they have to first figure out if they even like each other before they can get some use out of that book. So, I just think they are so far in their heads. I honestly think that if they just relax, go with the flow, not overanalyze, not overthink this thing, I think those two would absolutely work. But I have a feeling that these two are going to consistently get in their own way. I mean, by the end of the night, they did seem like they got a little bit better, and I will say one thing is that Bao is extremely patient. I mean, while he was fluttering, his eyes is all over the ceiling, Bao was focused. She was staring at him like, I need to know, fill me in, I need to know what I can do. So I got to give it to her. She was definitely open to communication, and he was struggling, but he did get it out, and I'm glad that they were able to talk about it. So I don't know, maybe they can figure this out within the next 6 weeks. Okay, and last but not least is Rachel and Jose. Now, not much on them this episode. They definitely hosted a housewarming party with their families, and they seem like they have known each other for years. I mean, they're really comfortable with each other. And when the conversation shifts to budgeting and get more serious, here we go with Jose breaking out his handy dandy whiteboard to show everyone, his prized budget and his credit score and how much money he saves. Rachel admits to her stepmother, Jose's stepmother, and her friend, that she's afraid to lose things that are important to her. Jose needs to add a vacation into their budget. Now, if Rachel is willing to compromise, he should as well. She's definitely passionate about traveling, and that's not something that's just going to change. I just hope, this is another couple that I think could really work out. But by him always constantly braggadociously throwing that in her face, and he wants to help her. But okay, help her. Stop showing the numbers. We've seen the numbers. Okay, great. Congratulations. But at the same time, every time you have a get together, you're going to pop that out. Now, if production say, hey, go get your whiteboard, bring it in and show it. Okay, fine. We don't know. But if this is something that he's doing on his own, it's like, okay, we see it. We know it. Your family definitely probably know it. And obviously he's done pretty well for himself and his credit and whatever else is he's done. Great. Show your wife how to do it so you guys can have a whole empire where you are actually able to take the trips that she's interested in taking. That's the interesting thing about this. But honestly, she's another person that's really independent. So it seems like she's trying to melt into or become more interdependent in the relationship. But, we'll have to see, and I know people feel some kind of way about Jose. I've heard everything from trying to be a man too much, or, some people was calling him little man syndrome. I don't know this man, so I'm not going to go there. But what I will talk about is, what the behavior I've seen on the show so far, of what we see. So I figured that this is another couple that could work out as well if they don't get in their own way. But again, we'll have to see how they all turn out in about 6 weeks. So that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed this recap of Married at First Sight Season 13, Episode 8. And until the next video, like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you soon.